Dawn of the hunt. The pre-dawn air carried a chill that had nothing to do with the season. Edrick stood on the wall of the Yurith stronghold, watching the eastern horizon begin to pale from black to deep indigo. Rose had remained beside him through most of the night, but an hour ago, Shamaz had gently insisted she get some rest before their departure. Now the healer joined Edrick on the wall, moving with the quiet certainty of a man who had walked through many dark hours. "You should rest as well, my king," Shamaz said, his voice soft in the pre-dawn stillness. "I can't." Edrick's hand rested on the pommel of the sealing blade, which hung at his side in a scabbard provided by the Yurith. The weapon thrummed with barely contained power, responding to his bloodline. "Every time I close my eyes, I see that thing rising from the lake, the Devourer." Shamaz was silent for a moment, his weathered face thoughtful in the growing light. "Elder Ashara told me something while you spoke with Rose. The Devourer feeds on more than flesh and soul. It feeds on despair." "Then it will feast well on me," Edrick said bitterly. "No." Shamaz's hand gripped Edrick's shoulder with surprising strength. "Because you do not face this alone. Because you have Rose, who would walk into the darkness itself at your side. Because you have Illyria, whose people have kept vigil for 3,000 years. Because you have me, and I have not spent 64 years studying the healing arts to watch you give up hope now." Edrick turned to meet the healer's eyes. "The amulet symbols are changing, Shamaz. You've seen it. There might be another way." "Perhaps." Shamaz's expression was cautious, but not dismissive. "The Yurith healers and I have been studying it through the night. The symbols shift in patterns that suggest a dialogue, as if the amulet is responding to the sealing blade's presence. Elder Ashara believes the two artifacts were meant to work together, though how exactly remains unclear." "We don't have time to solve ancient riddles," Edrick said, frustration bleeding into his voice. "The cultists are performing their rituals. The Devourer grows stronger. We strike the 3 sites today, tomorrow, and the day after. Then we march to Forsaken Lake." "Then we should wake the others," Shamaz said. "Dawn approaches, and Thornhaven is half a day's hard ride from here." They found Rose and Illyria already awake in the guest quarters, checking their weapons with the methodical precision of warriors who knew death waited on the road ahead. Rose's longsword gleamed in the lamplight, freshly sharpened. Illyria's twin daggers, still glowing with their faint purple luminescence, rested on the table before her. "The Yurith have prepared horses," Illyria said without looking up. "Fast ones, we'll need them. And provisions," Rose added, gesturing to packed saddlebags against the wall. "Elder Ashara has been busy." As if summoned by her name, the Yurith elder appeared in the doorway. Despite the early hour, she looked alert and focused, though Edrick noticed the lines around her eyes had deepened. She had not slept either. "The messenger left for Castle Stormmoor 2 hours ago," Elder Ashara reported. "Captain Torvin will receive word to mobilize the garrison and begin evacuating the villages near Forsaken Lake. My people are also sending scouts to track the cultist movements at all 3 sites." "Thank you," Edrick said, "for everything. Your people have kept faith for 3,000 years. I won't let that be for nothing." Elder Ashara's expression softened slightly. "You carry the weight of your bloodline, King Edrick, but remember, Aldrich did not face the Devourer alone. He had 6 other kings beside him, and their combined sacrifice created the binding. You have your companions. Trust in that." "The cycle breaks when the king becomes the blade," Shamaz murmured, repeating the cryptic phrase from the night before. "Elder Ashara, have you had any further insight into what that might mean?" "Only theories," the elder admitted. "The ancient texts are fragmentary, but there are references to a merging, a fusion of the wielder's will with the weapon's purpose. Perhaps the sacrifice required is not simply blood, but transformation." "Transformation into what?" Rose demanded. Elder Ashara shook her head. "That I cannot say. But the amulet's changing symbols suggest the answer lies in understanding the relationship between the 2 artifacts, between the warning and the weapon." Edrick felt the weight of the amulet in his pouch, warm against his side even through the leather. It pulsed steadily now, no longer frantic, but purposeful, as if it knew they were finally moving toward their destiny. "We need to leave," he said. "The longer we delay, the stronger the Devourer becomes." The Yurith stronghold came alive as they prepared to depart. Warriors gathered to see them off, their faces solemn but respectful. Children watched from doorways, their dark eyes wide with understanding beyond their years. These people had lived with the knowledge of the Devourer for 3 millennia. They knew what was at stake. The horses provided by the Yurith were magnificent, tall, powerful destriers with intelligence in their eyes. Edrick's mount was a gray stallion that reminded him of thunder, though this horse moved with an almost supernatural grace. Rose's chestnut courser stamped and snorted, eager for the run. Alluria's black mare stood calm and alert, while Shamaz's white gelding waited patiently. "These horses carry Yurith blood," Elder Ashara explained as they mounted. "They will not tire as easily as normal steeds, and they can sense corruption. Trust their instincts." Edrick adjusted the sealing blade at his side, feeling its weight settle into familiarity. The ruins of Thornhaven first, then the Weeping Stones tomorrow, and Old Ravenhold the day after. 3 strikes in 3 days, Rose said, her voice grim. "We disrupt their rituals, kill their leaders, and buy time for the evacuation. And we learn," Shamaz added. "Each site may hold clues about the Devourer's nature, about how to truly defeat it." Alluria's expression was distant, her eyes unfocused in the way that meant she was thinking tactically. "The cultists will expect us after the first strike. They'll reinforce the other sites. We'll need to move faster than they can react." "Then we ride hard," Edrick said. He turned to Elder Ashara one last time. "If we don't return—" "You will return," the Elder interrupted firmly, "or the Devourer will consume us all regardless. There is no alternative to victory, King Edrick. Only the path you take to achieve it." With those words ringing in his ears, Edrick urged his gray stallion forward. The horse responded instantly, moving from walk to canter to gallop in smooth acceleration. Behind him, his 3 companions matched his pace, their horses running in perfect coordination. The Yurith stronghold fell away behind them as they plunged back into Silverthorn Forest. But this time, the path was different. The corruption that had pressed so heavily on their journey seemed to part before them, as if the forest itself recognized the sealing blade and gave them passage. The Yurith horses ran tirelessly, their hooves barely seeming to touch the ground. They rode in grim silence, each lost in their own thoughts. Edrick found his hand repeatedly moving to the sealing blade's hilt, feeling the weapon's power resonating with his bloodline. He was the last of Aldrich's line. The last king who could wield this weapon. The last hope. But Elder Ashara's words echoed in his mind. Aldric did not face the Devourer alone. He had 6 other kings beside him. Edrick had Rose, who had been his sister in all but blood since he pulled her from the ruins of Kirkwall. He had Shamaz, whose wisdom and healing had saved them countless times. He had Alluria, whose people had kept vigil for 3,000 years and who now guided them through the corrupted lands. Perhaps that would be enough. The forest began to thin as they approached the edge of Silverthorn, and the corruption intensified. Trees twisted into tortured shapes, their bark weeping black ichor. The ground itself seemed to pulse with malevolent energy. The horses slowed, their ears flattening, but they did not balk. "We're close," Alluria called out, her voice tight. Thornhaven lies just beyond that ridge. Edrick could see it now, the ruins of the ancient city rising against the morning sky. Once it had been Aldric's seat of power, before he became the first king of Stormmoor. Now it was a broken monument to fallen glory. Its towers collapsed and its walls breached. But something new had been built within those ruins, something that pulsed with sick green light. "The ritual site," Shamaz said, his voice filled with revulsion. "I can feel it from here. The corruption is concentrated, focused." "How many?" Rose asked, her hand already on her sword hilt. Alluria's eyes narrowed as she studied the ruins. 20 cultists, perhaps more, and something else, something larger. Edrick felt the amulet pulse urgently against his side, its warmth becoming almost painful. The sealing blade thrummed in response, eager for battle. He drew the weapon, and it seemed to sing as it cleared the scabbard, a high, clear note that cut through the oppressive atmosphere. The blade itself was beautiful and terrible. Forged from a metal that seemed to shift between silver and gold, etched with the same symbols that adorned the amulet. As Edrick held it, he felt the weapon's purpose flow into him. This was not merely a sword. It was a key, a lock, a bridge between worlds, and it recognized him. "Whatever happens," Edrick said, his voice steady despite the fear coiling in his gut, "we stay together. We've fought side by side for years. This is just another battle." "Just another battle," Rose repeated, though her expression said she knew the lie. "Through darkness and light," Illyria murmured. "Until the end," Shamaz finished. They urged their horses forward down the slope toward the ruins of Thornhaven, toward the cultists and their dark rituals. Toward the first strike in a war that had begun 3,000 years ago and would end, one way or another, in the days to come. The sun rose fully over the horizon, painting the ruins in shades of gold and crimson. But the light seemed to die as it touched the corrupted stone, swallowed by the darkness that festered within. From the heart of the ruins came a sound, a rhythmic chanting in the old tongue, the same language the Amulet had whispered. Edrick tightened his grip on the sealing blade and felt his companions' close ranks around him. The horses slowed to a walk as they entered the ruins' shadow, their supernatural courage finally tested by the concentrated evil ahead. And in the ruins of Thornhaven, where Aldrich had once ruled before performing the binding that saved the world, the cultists continued their ritual. Green light pulsed from a stone altar slick with fresh blood. Robed figures swayed and chanted, their eyes glowing with the Devourer's corruption. But now the last king of Aldrich's line had come, bearing the sealing blade that had not been wielded in 3,000 years. The hunt had begun.
Thanks for watching our stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more epic adventures. Thanks for watching our stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more epic adventures.